All right, welcome back. Last time we talked about the overuse of antibiotics in animals and how that could create antibiotic-resistant infections for us. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about the overuse of antibiotics in humans and how many times antibiotics are often prescribed for things like viruses that don't have any response to an antibiotic. Our bodies naturally get over it, and people think, well, the antibiotic helped if they were given an antibiotic. So oftentimes, parents especially, will go and demand antibiotics for a child's ear infection. Well, in most cases, those are viral, and antibiotics only work against bacteria. They do not work against viruses such as the common cold, the COVID virus, most ear infections, many upper respiratory infections. Those are typically viral and not bacterial, but are often prescribed, people are often prescribed antibiotics for those. And the danger in that is that every time we're prescribed an antibiotic, we negatively change the bacteria in our gut permanently. And I say negatively because we kill off good and bad bacteria. Now, if we have a bad bacteria that we can't fight off naturally, getting an antibiotic can be a lifesaver. But using them for things that are viral or when we don't have to have an antibiotic can create havoc down the road, not only for ourselves, the person using the antibiotic, but for others, because these bacteria will then become more resistant to that particular antibiotic or that particular class of antibiotics. And when that happens, we start having germ spread or bacteria spread that are not responsive to the typical antibiotics, and then they become stronger and stronger and stronger as they go down the line and more antibiotics are used. So bacteria or antibiotic resistant bacterial infections is a real problem. So we want to talk about some ways that we can try to avoid the use of antibiotics. And there are many good thoughts that we can talk about today that can help us avoid the use of antibiotics in a lot of cases. And that would be our goal, to only use the antibiotic when we truly have no other options and we really need it at that point. Again, that can be a lifesaver. So today I brought my number one thing that I think is important to help us fight needing the use of antibiotics, and that is our good quality OptiURX pre and probiotic formula. Now, the reason that probiotics are so important, remember, 70 to 80% of our immune system is right here in the gut. And this product is designed to keep the good bacteria in our gut at a higher level and to weed out the bad bacteria. And this product has the seven most studied and most important strains of good bacteria that we can have on a daily basis or need on a daily basis. And it has 3 very important prebiotics which help feed those good probiotics, not only the good probiotic bacteria that are in here, but the other good probiotic bacteria that are in our gut naturally. And so it helps our body's good bacteria fighting, viral fighting, protozoan fighting, multiply. Those bacteria will then multiply, and we will be much less likely to need an antibiotic. We'll be much less likely to get that viral cold, upper respiratory infection, ear infection, whether we're a child or an adult. These are critical and should be used on a daily basis, which is an obvious reason why they're one of the foundational 4, right? I try to get everybody to start with the foundational 4. So if you're new, and I know we have new folks coming in, please go back and watch the other videos, but start to think, if you're not using the foundational 4, that's a great place for you to start, because you're going to have more energy, you're going to sleep better, and we're going to address your gut health with 2 different products. So that's a multivitamin, a probiotic, a digestive enzyme, and a magnesium. Now, let's talk about some other things that can help us avoid the need for an antibiotic. One other really important supplement that is really good for our immune system is vitamin D. So I like and formulate and recommend our Prescriptions Plus Vitamin D with Super K. Vitamin D has the ability to help fight and prevent cancers. It has the ability to help turn on what's called natural killer cells. Those are cells that go and fight different rogue cells, bacteria, viruses, again, those kind of things. And it can also help take care of rogue, like cancer cells that could become cancer. So vitamin D is really important, and the reason that I recommend the vitamin D with Super K is not only the benefits for the immune system, but also vitamin D really has an effect on every organ in our body, every process in our body. So it's very important for a lot of things. It can help reduce arterial plaque, increase bone density when it's combined with the right vitamin K, which is the way that mine is made, that ours is made. So, not to get off on that tangent, we're talking about the immune system and how to avoid antibiotics. So probiotics, vitamin D. Those are two really big guns in our arsenal. Now the third thing that I want to talk about is our 5 organic chelated salt magnesium. And we don't normally think of magnesium as an antibacterial supplement, but actually magnesium, when we have adequate optimal magnesium levels, our vitamin D levels will rise more efficiently. So people who have inadequate magnesium need double the amount of vitamin D to get to the same level as a person who has adequate magnesium. So think about that. If I don't have enough magnesium, because magnesium has these 350 plus positive functions in our body, and some of those are to activate things like our vitamin D and the pathways that lead to vitamin D absorption. So when we have good magnesium and we take a good quality vitamin D, our levels will rise and continue to stay at a much higher level than if we don't have enough magnesium. So those 3 products can make a huge difference in our ability to fight off bacteria, viruses, the most common things that people often get antibiotics for. And so we want to utilize this in our arsenal every single day to make, I always teach in my weekend that I want us to make our immune systems like rocks. Nothing can penetrate. Whenever something comes in, we have an arsenal ready to go to take care of that invader. And so that's what we want to do to avoid the use of antibiotics, because there's no positive benefit to using an antibiotic when you don't have to have it. So let's use them when we need them, but let's try to avoid them as much as we possibly can. And one quick other thought, if you're gonna have to be on an antibiotic, you should at least double your probiotic at that point, and you should take it at least 2 hours after each antibiotic dose. If you take it with the antibiotic's just gonna destroy this. So we wanna take it at least 2 hours after each dose of antibiotics. So if you're taking antibiotic once a day, at least take 2 of these once a day. If you're taking antibiotic twice a day, I would suggest at least 2 twice a day, and so forth. So hopefully that will help us avoid the use of antibiotics. Remember to go back and watch the one about the antibiotic use in the animals from last time. Thanks.